So this week's an important week for recognizing and remembering our Oklahoma City bombing. This is the 30th anniversary we had in the state capitol. We had a lovely joint session on Monday where we really honored those who perished and talked about the stories and talked about the impact and how many people were harmed and hurt by that. I wanted to just mention a couple things. I was reminded this week how important it was that there were public servants working in that building, and some of those were state employees. We lost 2 employees from the Oklahoma Water Resources Board and 1 from the Social Security office. You know, thinking about these public servants who are really there to treat the public fairly, doing the work of our shared government and our shared society, and just wanted to reiterate how important it is that we recognize that work of our state and federal employees, and that even as we look at how we deal with budgets, et cetera, that we continue to view their humanity and their importance in our communities. Certainly I had friends and neighbors impacted, and I'm sure you did too. So we're thinking about those families this week. We did pass a curriculum that every single student in Oklahoma learns about the Oklahoma City bombing, and I think that's important to what we learn from what happened in our state, and knowing going forward that we have to reduce hate and try to reduce violence in our communities. I do want to talk about a few good things that happened this week. We're really pleased with some of the bills that are moving forward. Some of the Senate bills we have over on the House side are going along, but I wanted to mention 2 House bills that we're carrying on this side. So Senator Mann has a bill specifically about the private school vouchers. And one of the things we've learned is that some of the private schools are requiring parents to apply for that tax credit. And so his bill would actually disallow that. Basically, some schools are requiring it for enrollment in those private schools. And we just don't think that's fair to make a family do a specific tax step just to get into a school. And so that bill's moving forward. I had a bill move forward about workforce, specifically looking at how we prepare people with disabilities in our state for gainful integrated employment. And the big thing, knowing that we have a very low employment rate for people who are working age who have disabilities. I'm talking about all kinds of disabilities. We have a very low rate, somewhere between 35 and 44% of people with disabilities who could be working are not. And we have to find ways to get them in integrated employment. There's a real transition happening because right now the federal government allows organizations to pay a sub-minimum wage, so below minimum wage, to people with disabilities if they're in certain environments. And we want to make sure we're preparing everyone who can to work in our communities and be part of our communities and workforce. So those 2 bills are moving forward. We're pleased about that. The other big conversation up here continues to be budget. You know, the final part of the session really is about finalizing the budget. That's our biggest duty as legislators. I know the Oklahoma Senate Democrats will be prioritizing protecting our schools, our public schools, making sure that we're focused on health care for Oklahomans. One thing we're looking at is 1/4 of Oklahomans get Sooner Care. And so that's the health care that is provided to a wide variety of low-income and low-income working people. If there's cuts at the federal level or at the state level, that's going to limit what can happen locally and what people can get to, whether our hospitals will survive, whether people can access the care they need. So those are the things we're very focused on. Also, there's a lot of conversation about our mental health system. Not only whether there's going to be future cuts, but also current cuts, because our mental health agency sent out contract changes to folks that run drug treatment and mental health treatment in our state. And we have a big concern about how that's going to impact the people who need care going forward. We already heard that the Seminole County Drug Court has closed. Hopefully they're finding another solution, but that's the kind of thing that's going to happen if those agencies lose support from the state to provide treatment to Oklahomans. And just know that it's going to cost us more. If folks don't go through drug court, we are paying for them to be in prison and their family challenges. If they're able to get back to work and get recovered, it means a lot in our community. So as we go forward, we're going to be looking for those real solutions in our budget that solve real problems. And as always, we're rolling our sleeves up and working across the aisle.